What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Oh my goodness. Woo! Big win. Jake, what you got over there? What you drinking?
This is another product by Labatt, Mike. It's called it's Big Deal Brewing, and it's brewed by Labatt, and it's actually done by the Spit and Chicklets guys at Barstool Sports. So Paul Bissonnette and Ryan Whitney, they came out with their own beer now. They had their own alcohol with the Pink Whitney, it was vodka infused with pink lemonade. Pretty popular drink nowadays. So now they figured, hey, let's do beer. So they were actually here to promote it. And I figured, you know what? I'm going to go grab it. It just came out in stores. So I went and got some. It's a Labatt product. Labatt, throw us a sponsor if you will. But that's what I'm sipping on right now. It's great.
That's awesome. I mean, what a game. I mean, we said it. Let's talk about a few things before. Let's give some folks a chance to join. Normally we play our intro, gives folks, allows them to get the notification and join us. But talk to me about your setup over there. Who was at your house today, and what kind of food were you serving up?
So we did pizza. We did Pasquale's Pizza, which is a very underrated pizza joint here. They're more of an Italian restaurant, but their pizza is so damn good, and it's that thick buffalo crust, Mike. I got 2 sheets, and we went all out. We did some buffalo chicken wing dip and the whole shebang. I got about 3 12-packs of this, so that was great. And man, it was just awesome experience. We were missing a few guys. I'm not going to call out any names. Actually, maybe I will. No, I'm not going to go there. They determined, maybe hanging out with the girlfriend was a little more important, so I don't condone it. I said, listen, you have no excuses. I got my wife and baby upstairs. They're watching up there. They're not even down here watching what they did come down like in the last minute or whatever. And it was hilarious. I had my little baby. She's clapping and stuff. And we're all clapping, jumping up and down. And that was a cool moment, putting her up in the air and stuff. And she was loving it. And she was just going along with it. It was hilarious. So we are raising a Bills fan the right way, Mike. It's a great thing to see, So she actually woke up because she had so much FOMO. And, I think I told you in the one show. So her room is like right above here. So there's a vent that actually travels right up to her room. And there's no way she's sleeping with all of us down here screaming. I mean, we're just going nuts. So, yeah, it was amazing. What an experience. What a game. It was, I got to give the Chiefs some credit because I really did think we were going to come out and it was just going to be a bloodbath. I mean, that was right down to the wire. So hats off to them. They played a really good game. Pat Mahomes, I mean, he did some incredible things out there. Travis Kelce, I don't know how this man continues to get open. And Juju Smith-Schuster, where the hell did he come from? I was going to say, if we lose to a Juju Smith-Schuster-led team, we may have to start doing some really like looking in the mirror or whatever it may be. But, man, we pulled it out. Taron Johnson, awesome pick for him at the end there. I mean, just so many things. It was an ultimate team win. And it was on the shoulders of Josh Allen, too. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was just everything you wanted for, everything you look for in a primetime game like that. And I call it a primetime game because it was that 4 o'clock slot on CBS. You can't beat it. I freaking love it. It's great stuff. And I'm just super pumped, Mike. Super pumped.
Yeah, same here. Of the 3 receivers, Juju was the one. I don't know if I talked about it on the pregame, but he was the one I thought had most promise. He's had a couple big years. I know he had a big shoulder injury that kept him out I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, but he had some big years, and I thought he could have the most promise, and he showed up today for them. But hey, we'll take it. I do want to say welcome everyone. We were just kind of chatting while we saw some folks join us. We see Big L out there. About time things finally come together. No thanks to the refs is what he's saying. And I got to say, in the pregame show, we both said it, Jake. We said, hey, we know this Bills team's better. Vegas knows they're better.
Yep.
You and I know the data that I supplied said we're better, and now America knows we're better. And it wasn't the big blowout like you said we thought it would be. A couple of things we kind of self-destructed early on. I'm not going to nitpick at all, but, we go down, we get the kickoff. Seems like we've been losing a lot of the coin tosses lately because other teams are deferring. I know when I went to the Rams game, they got the ball in the second half. But, man, we go down, we drive, we get inside the red zone, and some little crazy, pitch to Isaiah. It looked like he didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It gets charged to be a fumble against Josh Allen, but my God, we can't have those type of things going on when you're playing a team like this. But my goodness, they got to turn around. The defense came on strong. Let me tell you. Let me ask you. So you mentioned Kelsey already.
Mhm.
They were throwing some different coverages out there. I saw Saran Neal out there, who I know you
Yeah.
love, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Why is Saran out there?" And then they showed it that he was actually covering Kelsey. I thought that was a smart call. And then he
Mhm.
went into some zones. But talk to me about what you were seeing for them
Yeah.
trying to cover Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean, we ran a lot of zone today, and Matt Milano, I think in coverage he didn't necessarily play a great game by any means, but he made up for it with his tackles and running
Yeah,
downhill and running right through guys. So he did a tremendous job. And yeah, I liked what we were doing with Saran Neal because he did a really good job last year in the regular season against Travis Kelsey, and he really helped kind of eliminate him from that offense. So I thought it was similar today. Obviously, he got flagged with a couple penalties, but I thought he did a decent job on him. And then we sort of got away from that. We were playing a little more soft zone and kind of letting them just everything in front of us. I mean, that was definitely frustrating, especially towards the end of the half here, right at the end of the first
yeah,
half. I mean, how the hell do you let that happen again? I mean, 12 seconds on the clock this time. They go down, they get a 62-yard field goal. I mean, it's just uncalled for, unacceptable. But hey, again, I don't want to nitpick here. Let's celebrate
yeah,
a victory.
yeah, for sure.
It's just awesome.
It was a hard fought game. Two elite teams, two elite quarterbacks. We said these are the two best quarterbacks
Yeah.
in the league, and I think they showed it. I mean, it's been a struggle lately watching primetime games, even though this wasn't officially a primetime game, but this lived up to what I think everyone thought, short of going into overtime, which one of the guys called on the pregame show, and I was like, man, this could go to OT at one point.
Yeah.
We got Chris Tebow out there, great game. But what did you think of that call to go for it on fourth at midfield? I'll throw it to you. I'll just say I'll talk about it a little bit, but I was all for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, our offense, I thought still dominated. I mean, really, Josh Allen is so good at football. He's just incredible. And then we have the other piece, and Antonio, thank you for mentioning it, Von Miller. I mean, my gosh, now you have two complete pieces there, and that's what we're missing last year. We were missing a Von Miller. I
The
mean, he
closer.
is really, and here I was wanting Chandler Jones to be on this team, and my buddy mentioned it too. It's like we were all for signing Chandler Jones. We were almost a little disappointed when we saw that Von Miller was signed. I mean, I was happy, obviously, like that's a big name, but we were thinking like, why him? He's up in his 30s. His production's gone down a little bit, but here he is looking younger than ever, looking better than ever, makes everyone on the defensive line better. And he was an absolute force today, just disrupted so well. And it was just amazing. I love it. I'm over the moon right now, Mike.
Yeah, so you agree. You had to go for it at that point.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. That was my initial point. And then I got into talking about Von Miller.
No worries there. Von Miller shows up again with 2 sacks when you need it most. That closer that we've been looking for, didn't have it last year. We did this year. I thought they did. They played very well with containment. There was a couple times I'm like, I don't know. It felt like Rousseau wasn't on the field enough for me, and I don't know. I wanted him on the field more.
Yeah.
Because every time we'd get some pressure, it seemed like the bigger guys were getting there, those tackles, and by the time they got to Mahomes, they were kind of tired out there.
Yep.
But great containment, Mahomes. So I'm saying Miller. Miller had 2 sacks, and Shaq Lawson got a sack as well. He's credited here. So and then, my goodness, our rookie Kaiir Elam continues to shine. Big play to get that interception. In the that's the first quarter, right?
And that was on third down too.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end zone. I mean, that everything about it was great.
Yeah. So again,
It was like one-handed too, and he just kind of ripped it away. That was awesome.
Yeah, we got good pressure on Mahomes, made him roll out to the right, and then he just kind of tried to do a Mahomes magic, and it backfired on him. And then what about our guy Taron Johnson? Let's go, Taron Johnson.
Yeah.
God, love him. Love him. He makes some big plays over the years, and it's been a while. I usually always say, watch out for Taron Johnson to make a big play in this game, and here he is making that huge play. But, I mean, kudos to everybody. I mean, let's go around the horn here. Let's start with Josh Allen. Obviously, I think you already talked about him a lot already, but, man, I don't think you can talk enough about what Josh Allen did today. So talk to me.
Yeah. First off, how does it happen 2 years in a row where he hurdles? I don't even know. I don't think it was the same player, but I mean, 2 years in a row, this guy hurdles someone, and it's effortless from the guy. He's such a freak athlete. He has an incredible arm. He made some throws today again that they make your jaw drop. I just don't. I have no words. I'm at a loss for words with how good of a football player this man is. It's just can't say. I don't know. I like I said, I'm at a loss for words, Mike. He's so good. It's amazing to finally have a quarterback like this. I don't know if the Bills have ever had someone like this. It's a different animal. Like Jim Kelly was great. He's a great Hall of Famer, and he's, he was the initial best quarterback in Bills history. But I think Josh Allen is starting to take that crown. I mean, it's just, and he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. He's got a long time to go, but he's well on his way. And man, it's just unbelievable what he's doing here. This is a young farm boy that no one took a shot on, Mike. He sent his tape out to every single college in the country. The only team to look at him was Wyoming. Here he comes to Buffalo, 7th overall, labeled a project with a rocket arm, and here he is, 5 years later, just tearing it up and putting the team on his shoulders and hurdling guys and really. I mean, if we don't have Josh Allen in this game, we're not winning. We're not winning many games this year. Let's be honest. It's just awesome. I'm so happy.
That throw to Dawson Knox for the win was incredible. First of all, kudos to the offensive line in that play. Josh had plenty of time. He wasn't getting a lot of time during the game, but that play, he had time, enough time to kind of point Knox to where he wanted him to go. And then he threw a dart. That thing, it couldn't have been placed anywhere else because there was a guy underneath, there was a guy close to Knox, and he threaded the needle, Jake, one of the best throws I've seen in a very long time. Incredible.
It's like every week there's a new best throw. I don't even know how that's possible, but it always happens, and it's incredible, Mike. It's incredible. I'm so disheveled right now. I've been jumping up and down. I'm still sweating, like my shirt's all messed up underneath me. I got pizza stains all over me, beer spilled all over, beer spilled in the corner. I mean, this place, I'll tell you what, this house was electric during that entire game. I mean, we had all the boys down here. We had the whole fantasy crew, and there may be a video circulating of me burning a Patrick Mahomes jersey. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but one of the guys in our fantasy league says, "Hey, I got a Pat Mahomes jersey." I said, "Okay, that's kind of cool." He said, "I'm bringing it over. We're burning it in your fire pit." And I said, "Really? Okay. I mean, if you want to do it, we'll do it." He said, "I'm serious. We're doing it pregame." So we did. I'll send you that video, Mike. You can take a look at that. That was pretty crazy. So yeah, that happened, and as it's like 20-17, I'm kind of thinking to myself, first off, that's going to suck if we end up losing this game. I was a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I was definitely worried.
Yeah.
You always feel good when you have 17 on the field, but at a certain point of that game, it was starting to get a little worrisome. We had a couple of drives where we just seemed to stall out, and I was thinking, man, first off, we did that video, and then second off, we got the post-game show prior to me saying we're going to absolutely smoke this team. So that's going to really suck. I would have faced the music, but I'm really glad we pulled that off.
Same here. I was already thinking, man, this is why I stay PC on my takes, because it doesn't feel so bad if I'm completely wrong. But my goodness, they saved us. They backed us up today. I want to say, for Jonah. So Jonah had a soccer game today, and he knows. I told him, dude, I can't go to your soccer game. Why, Dad? The Bills are playing. I
love that.
The Bills are playing. So he goes to the soccer game. I've told my son, and I think you've seen this out on social media. I said, and I joke with Jonah, but I'm like, Jonah, if you have a game and the Bills are playing, I'm not going to be there. If you're getting married and the Bills are playing, I'm not going to be there. Yeah, if you're having a baby and the Bills are playing, I'm going to meet that baby the next day.
We'll see you later. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes.
Oh, man. Chris Tebow says, hey, my neighborhood sounded like the 4th of July. You were saying you had somebody in your neighborhood that's celebrating,
same deal.
Right?
I mean, we don't mess around. Like for away games, this I'm pointing in this direction. You can't tell where I'm pointing. There's a house across the street, like a couple doors down, and they do a tailgate for every single game, home and away. And especially the away games, they seem to go even harder. They're still partying right now. Nice. They had about 30 some odd cars there the last time I looked. I just went outside like right before the show here. They're still partying down there. They're playing music. I mean, they're playing cornhole and stuff. They've been going since I want to say maybe noon. It's been a nonstop party for them. I freaking love it. I mean, this is just an example of what Bills Mafia is. Like, we really go hard for the games, and we even for away games, we still tailgate at home. So that's just how it is. Chris, where do you live, man? Because that's awesome. You're blowing off fireworks with KC logos on it. I mean, that's incredible.
I haven't seen Chris before. Have you seen him in the channel?
I thought I think I recognize the name. Maybe I'm not too sure. But Chris, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're new, welcome to the channel, man. Greatly appreciate you joining us. Yeah. So, just think about this. After the Dolphin game, people were saying, it's been 7 games that the Bills have lost consecutively in one-score games, and they just can't do it. And I don't know whether that was on Josh Allen, they were saying, or whether they're blaming the coaching. But now within 3 weeks, Jake, we've had 2 one-score games that we pulled out, and this is what good teams do.
Yep.
And that just shows me this team has definitely elevated from years past. In years past, this wasn't going to happen. No way was this going to happen. It always would go against us, and it's good to see things fall to us these days. And good teams will win these type of games. These are crucial games. We are 5-1. We are going into the bye week. We have 2 weeks to celebrate. How much would have sucked if we lost this game 4-2,
Oh, I know.
and we go into a bye week and we have to wait 2 more weeks? No, we are 5-1, man.
And
We're 5-1.
it stings that much more. It would have stung that much more because it's
Yes.
the Chiefs. It feels that much better that it is the Chiefs too on the other side of it, right? So, yeah, it's awesome. Cheek to Vegas, that's awesome. Cool, very nice. I'm in Lakeview, so not terribly far, but that's cool, man.
Wait,
like
I
it.
heard you say cheap to Vegas.
Yeah, we call it Cheek to Vegas.
What's that all about?
Cheektowaga, Cheek to Vegas. I don't know. It's just a Buffalo thing.
I never heard that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, Mike. I don't know. It's yeah, we're weird.
My whole block goes crazy, says Chris. Oh man,
That's sweet.
fantastic. We got plenty of folks out there. So let us know who you are. We love meeting new folks. Tell us your name, where you're from, and let's get to know you. And let's join us in this celebration. So we talked about Josh Allen, and again, we've already said so much about him, but what an amazing game. This young man continues to get better year after year. We said in the pregame that, I felt he kind of passed Mahomes just a little bit.
Yeah.
And, Mahomes still doing Mahomes' thing. He did that one pass that got called pass interference on Kelsey. Did you see the one where he had that side
sidearm
throw?
yeah.
It was a beautiful
Yeah.
throw. And it was kind of ticky-tacky on that one. But there were a lot of ticky-tacky things that
Yeah,
were
there
called
were a
for us.
couple.
Well, the one where Josh Allen was tripped by Chris Jones. What'd you think about that one?
That was terrible. I mean, it is in the rule book. You're not allowed
is
to
in the
trip
rule
with an
book.
opposing player
Exactly.
like that. So
Yeah.
I get why he was so ticked off. Like, it makes sense to me, and it's not just him being a crybaby about it. It's a legitimate rule. So he had all the right in the world to complain like he did. So very surprised. And that's right in front of the official. I don't know how they didn't call that. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, so just real quick on the quarterback stats. Josh Allen, 27 of 40, 329 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was sacked 1 time, and he was sacked with that trip from Chris Jones.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 40, 338 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 3 times. Josh's rating was 117.6, whereas Mahomes is 85.2. So Josh is clearly taking the lead in that MVP race that we were talking about in the pregame show today. Let's jump over to that running game. Man, was that running game looking good. And my man, Devin Singletary says, Mike, I know you have a big bet with Jake. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start extending the lead that I already had. He goes off for 17 carries, 85 yards, average of 5 yards a carry. So finally, someone takes over the leading rusher than Josh Allen. Now, Josh had 32 yards rushing, and then James Cook, your guy, had 8 yards. But talk to me about what you saw in that running game.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say this. Our offensive line, I thought, played a really good game. They were given just about all they could possibly handle up front. I thought Spencer Brown, he was the only one who maybe struggled a little bit. He went out with an injury, so hopefully he's okay. But I thought David Quessenberry did a really nice job coming in, filled his spot. I mean, Josh had all the time in the world to throw the ball, but on the run game, Mike, finally, it seems like we finally were able to get something going. And, I think we took advantage of how the Chiefs were playing us. I think they wanted to sort of let us run the football. That's sort of what they wanted us to do and just shut down Josh Allen. That was sort of the game plan, but it didn't really work in their favor, unfortunately for them. But yeah, it was nice to see. I mean, our offensive line was getting to the second level and there was just a whole lot going on there. So it's great. I love it. I'm pumped. 85 yards. We'll take it. That's great for you. 2 carries for 8 yards for James Cook. We thought he was going to definitely be more involved, but hey, I'll take Devin Singletary rushing for 85 yards compared to James Cook's 8 any day for a win. So
Yeah,
I'm happy with it, man.
Yeah, it's surprising that they didn't use Cook more in the passing game. I really thought they'd get him out there in this game because they deactivated they made Zach Moss inactive. So I
Yeah.
thought for sure Zach would get more playing time, but he didn't. I just feel like they saw the hot hand. They saw Singletary was doing very well. Why change that up, right? So offensive line, let's talk about that real quick. Like you said, they did a fantastic job. I think you said Spencer Brown struggled a little bit, but Quessenberry came in, and it's great to have this depth. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did.
Right? I mean,
he did. And that's no easy task. I mean, he had Frank Clark on the other side there. That defensive line that the Chiefs have is very good. I mean, George Karlaftis, though, I thought he was very limited. We did a great job against him. Deion Dawkins absolutely was manhandling him all day, so that was great to see. Derek Nottie was a non-factor. Chris Jones had his moments for sure, but he's a top 3 defensive tackle in the league, and of course that tripping sack, so fine, whatever. And, Frank Clark, like I said, he was bullying Spencer Brown, but David Quessenberry came in and I thought handled him extremely well, so pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, just since you mentioned Chris Jones, let's talk about that a little bit. He had 3 tackles. He had the 1 sack, the trip that you said, and he had a pass deflection. There was a couple pass deflections in this game.
Yeah.
And, and he had a tackle for a loss. So your dad's out there, Big L, saying, I think if we picked up McCaffrey and had him on the team for the break before the Green Bay game, he would act like a Travis Kelce and be unstoppable. Your thoughts there?
I don't know. I mean, it really, first off, it depends what we need to give up for CMC. I'm not willing to part ways with a first round pick for him. If it's a second round pick, I'll have a conversation, because that second round pick, essentially, Mike, we're banking on that second round pick being like the 64th overall pick in the draft. So yeah, I would be maybe okay with that. But just talking about CMC, what he would do with this offense, I think he's very dynamic. Obviously, he gives that nice burst that we're sort of lacking right now. I don't know if he'd be unstoppable, but he would definitely be an upgrade at that position. And I'd be curious to see how we use him. Although, I mean, Devin looked pretty good today. So, and he underrated pass catcher, to be honest. I mean, he's done a really nice job catching the football.
Yeah, totally agree. He had four more catches for 32 yards. So,
yeah,
nice day.
That total yardage for him is looking real good for you, Mike.
Yeah, over 100 yards today. So, absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about
I want to give a shout out to my cousin Maddie Hawks on Facebook. Let's go, Maddie. Yeah, welcome to it. Cheers to you, sir. Come on down for a beer. Just put the baby to bed. We're doing a little post-game show. Maddie lives in, maybe not even 5 minutes away from where we are, so that's pretty cool. Glad that you're joining us here. Hell of a win, man. Hell of a win.
Yeah. Welcome, Maddie. I don't think I've seen. Have we seen Maddie before?
No, this is the first time.
All right. Yeah, it's fun. It's cool. We do stream to. I forget sometimes that we stream live to Facebook. At the same time, we have a Nickel City Mafia Facebook page, and it's rare when we see a comment come up from Facebook. So that's awesome to see. Love that. And if you are on Facebook and you're happening to watch our show, make your way over to the YouTube channel at some point and drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us.
I'm gonna have to get on my cousin too. So he's also cousins with my cousin that I've mentioned before, Nate Geary, who does the WGR postgame show. And I'm going to have to get on him a little bit because Maddie's watching our show instead of listening to Nate. So, hey, younger cousin, maybe we have a little competition going here. I don't know. I'm going to call him out. Mike, we might need to get him on the show. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think I asked you a while ago to check with him. So, let's try. Absolutely. Definitely. So, on the Kansas City side, they only rushed for 68 yards. Hilaire had 33 yards for 3.7 average. Mahomes had 21 yards for 5.3. I'll tell you what, Patrick Mahomes, there's a couple times he was running for his life, and I was like, oh my God, he's doing those Patrick Mahomes things. He was escaping. We got a little, we didn't get lucky. We actually were able to shut him down. There was one that he just ran he must have ran 20, 30 yards scrambling in the backfield, and I thought he was going to make one of those big plays, but kudos to our secondary just being solid in that second half. I don't know what it is about the second half, Jake. We come out. So look, when we started the year against the Rams, it was 10-10 at half, and the Rams were getting the ball. We come up with a big stop when they get the opening kickoff in the third quarter, and then we just take over the game. This was huge. It was 10-10 at half, and they get the ball. and you're like, oh my God, we got to get another stop. And we did. And the defense just really turned it on in the second half once again. Kudos to Frazier for making adjustments. I know we were kind of like, are you freaking kidding me? Letting him come down there 12 seconds before halftime to get a field goal to tie it up? Are you kidding me? But you know what? It was a great chess match. It really was. Both defenses were making adjustments. Both offenses were making adjustments. I mean, it was a thing of beauty, honestly.
It was, yeah. And you know what? We've never really been a second half team, I feel like. Now, and that's what good teams are. I mean, they always show up in the second half. They finish games. And for us to be, I mean, right after that Dolphins game, there was a stat that came out talking about how we can't win these one-score games. You had already sort of mentioned this, Mike, how we can't win the one-score games and how we can't finish a game pretty much. And I think they took that personally, and they're starting to show up, and it's awesome. Two in a row here.
Yeah. Well, 2 in the last 3.
Oh yeah. What am I saying? Yes, I'm forgetting the Steelers game.
The Steelers.
Totally forgot about the Steelers game. Yeah.
And how about the Steelers
Ravens game? And then
how about the Steelers beating Tom Brady today?
It's unbelievable.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. And then Mitchell Trubisky comes in, looks like a god throwing the football. It's incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome. He's like, this is why we signed number 40 is what Matt says.
Matty.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely. So I can't wait. I got to tell you, I told you how upset I was on the pregame and about one of the Chiefs podcast shows. So I can't wait to go listen to it. It's going to be done, but I can't wait to hear their excuses. They're going to say, like, we had our backup corners in there. And of course, right. But don't we have a similar situation? I mean, we have rookies too. We have rookies playing. We have Poyer. We have Benford. It was nice to see Benford back. And we're getting Trey White back in 3 weeks.
I'm pumped. That's awesome.
Watch out. How'd you think Hamlin did today?
I thought he had his moments. He played pretty well. I thought, he's handling it well. I mean, he was just kind of thrown in, and to replace a guy like Micah Hyde, I mean, he's really rose to the occasion, I think, and he's physical too. I just love the physicality that he brings, and he's not afraid to play in the run game, which is awesome to see. So I thought for the most part he played all right. He had a couple plays where, there was the one play with Travis Kelce where he just kind of ran wide open. I think it was kind of the coverage more so too. It wasn't totally on him. But there were a couple plays where he made some mistakes, and I think he's just, those are some growing pains that he'll get through. But for the most part, thought he played a really nice game.
Yeah, so Stephon Diggs had a great game, 10 for 148. We knew he was going to have a big game against these young corners, and he did. He caught a touchdown pass. Gabe Davis, again, big play Gabe, right? He had that nice 34, and let's talk about that one because that was huge. Right,
and it's right when you need it. Right when you need it.
Right before half, we're losing 7-3. We're backed up. We were at the 2-yard line, I think, and we go on this long drive, which ended in a beautiful pass from Josh. I think that was a thing of beauty to Gabe Davis.
Yeah, it was.
That was a huge play. So we go up, 10-7, and of course we let them come back and get that field goal at halftime. But let me talk to you about a guy, and I want to hear Big Al because I know Big Al's a fan of Isaiah McKenzie. What was going on with Isaiah today? He struggled.
Maybe it's a rollover from being out from the concussion. It seemed like we were talking about this a little bit before the show. It's almost like he was gun shy or something. There was just something there. He definitely wasn't right. And even that drop pass too I think it was on that drive, he dropped the pass and just not great. He had the fumble to start off the game, and there was just so many things. He had the potential touchdown where he slipped, and just a lot of things today that just didn't go his way at all. I think he only had one catch.
I got to talk to Thomas here in a second, but So Antonio was saying Josh Allen is the first quarterback to beat Mahomes twice in Arrowhead. So that says a lot. I'm so tired of the schedule makers always making us go to Arrowhead, and I guess next year they've done the same thing. They said it on the broadcast because we're going to be playing the AFC West next year. And again, we'll be traveling to KC.
So that's just sort of, too, and a lot of people blame that on the schedule makers, but that's sort of how the schedule it falls. So you play. There's the 2 random AFC teams that are outside of the division that you're going to play, and it's based on how they did record-wise. So you're away at one, home for the other. So that's not really all on the schedule makers. It's just how they set the state, like the actual format of making the schedule up. So it just seems like it is. It's like every year we're playing in KC, but it's just because of how the year was before and records and all that stuff.
Yeah, so let's talk about Thomas here. Thomas, welcome to the channel. Haven't seen you before. Glad. Thanks for coming out. So, who's a fan of Mackenzie? So we have, Jake's dad is a big fan, and we met Isaiah McKenzie last year. And when I actually came to visit Buffalo, we went out to the Bill Bar. We had to wait. We went across the street, and he had his live show that he was doing, and we talked to him, and that was fantastic. It was so cool. But what do you mean by dude is fried, done with? I mean, he up until his concussion, he had been playing at a very, very high level. I was calling him Mr. Touchdown. He's making plays all the time. But I'd like to know a little bit more, Thomas, about why you think he's fried.
It looks like he wants Khalil Shakir in the game. He comes back and says Tupac Shakir. Love that nickname from Khalil Shakir, by the way. I think that's great. Yeah, I would definitely like to see more Khalil Shakir. I think he definitely looks more explosive. Obviously, he's healthy, and every time he touches the ball, it's a big play. So yeah, I want to definitely see more of him. I don't know why we didn't really use him much today.
Yeah, we have a group chat as the game's going on, Jake, myself, and Sean from the Red, White, and Bills, and we were like, maybe it's time to just, I think this was right about halftime, we're like, let's get Khalil Shakir in the game, and let's just tell Isaiah, today's not your day, man. Maybe next week. Because he was gun shy. There was something.
Yeah, there's something there.
And there was at least 2 balls he should have caught. And then, of course, I was on the flip from Josh. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what the call was, but you would think he'd be ready if that flip happened. And he wasn't. But, hey, we got some other folks here as well. Who did I just see? Mike
Hartel. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, yes.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the channel, Mike. Where are you from? Want to meet more people, just tell us where you're from. Let's go, Bills. Last week we had someone in the Netherlands, from India.
That's pretty awesome. It's amazing. Like, people from all over the world are watching our show now, Mike. I mean, it's kind of cool, So yeah, definitely like to hear where you guys are all from. Chris, you're going to the Minnesota game. That'll be a good one to go to. The 2 Cook brothers playing against each other. That'll be fun. You got the return of Minnesota facing Stephon Diggs, former team for him, so that's kind of cool. So Thomas, I don't totally agree with that, and I'll say this. So I thought, obviously that whole thing where he fumbled last year on the kickoff return, I thought he was pretty resilient when he came back and when he was, thrown back into the lineup. He had that game against the Patriots. The first game against the Rams, he played extremely well. I thought against the Dolphins, outside of not getting out of bounds, he played a really good game. He had 7 for 76 that game and a touchdown. So I think for the most part, he's been pretty solid. Just, obviously he had the concussion and today he did not play well. I'll say that for sure. I mean, it was an awful game for him, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think, I'm hoping it doesn't roll over any more than this. I don't think they're totally done with him. I would definitely like to see more Khalil Shakir, though. I definitely am in agreement on that.
Yeah, agree. Thomas, I'll get back to your question on Weddle's Nickel City Mafia. I forgot Chris Tebow put this up there. Trey White will be back from Minnesota. Yeah, he should be. He actually has to be. If he's not, he'd have to be out for the season. But so he was activated this week. Obviously, we got the bye week next week, and then we got Green Bay. We feel he might be back for Green Bay, but if not for Green Bay, is Minnesota the game after Green Bay, Jake?
That's right. Yep.
All right. So absolutely, Chris, he'd be back there. We think it might be Green Bay, but the way Green Bay's playing, I don't know. I might rest them another week, and Minnesota's been playing tough, so we definitely want them there. So yes, Chris, to your question.
Actually, I'm sorry. It's at the Jets and then home against Minnesota.
Oh, okay. So we'll definitely see him before.
Yeah, that'll be
Minnesota.
Like November 13th or something like that, I want to say. Yeah, the 13th, yes.
Yeah, the latest we'll see him will be that Jet game. But I think he might be out there for that Green Bay game.
Yeah, I have a pretty good feeling about that, definitely.
So what is Nickel City? So Nickel City is a nickname given to Buffalo. Look it up. Back in the day, there was a nickel. And I know the nickel's kind of grayed out here on our background, but there was a nickel with a bison on it, a buffalo on it. And that was, the phrase was coined for Buffalo, Nickel City. If you drive around, Jake, far enough in Buffalo, and my son said, he asked me the same thing. Dad, I never heard of that. But then my son does deliveries. He takes his truck all over the place. Started sending me pictures of shops, Nickel City Mafia or Nickel City Auto Shop, Nickel City, a couple
Yeah,
other
there's so many
places.
places. There's an antique
so
store
many
right in
places.
Hamburg. It's called like
Yeah.
Nickel City Antique Store, and there's a lot of places.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Thomas. And let's see, did we catch up with everyone? Did you say somebody was going to one of the games?
Yeah, Chris. Chris said he's going to be going to the Minnesota game, so that'll be cool, man. Good experience.
Sweet. Awesome. Fantastic.
Definitely.
All right, so let's see here. Where do we leave off? We were talking about wide receivers. He says, great story. I'm from Sudbury, Ontario.
That's funny.
And this is the Nickel City of Canada.
I saw that. So I think there's only three cities that call themselves the Nickel City, and I saw two, I think, are in Canada, I want to say. I'm not totally sure on that, but that's pretty cool, man. Nice. Canadian, our friends from the north. I respect it. Drinking a Labatt right now. This is the Big Deal Brewing, put on by Spit and Chicklets at Barstool Sports. This just released in stores here in Buffalo, so been trying really hard to get a sponsorship with Labatt. So if anyone out there listening works or knows of someone at Labatt that can hook us up, would be much appreciated. I drink one every show, maybe more than one. So this pregame I did, I think, a couple. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious. Sudbury, Ontario. I've been to Ontario a lot as a kid, but I don't know Sudbury. That's driving distance to Buffalo, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's too far. Yeah, that's probably maybe an hour and a half, something like that.
So, Thomas, have you come over the border to the Buffalo Nickel City?
Yeah.
And seen a game here? Let us know.
Clearly, he must be a Bills fan. I'm assuming he's a Bills
absolutely,
fan.
absolutely.
Yeah, we do have a big presence up there in
a lot
Canada.
of folks across the border. Absolutely. That's why whenever we have had our giveaways, we always make it available to the folks in Canada as well. So we were talking about the receiver. I went through Diggs having a big day. Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, again, 3 for 37. He had a couple key catches.
Big catches.
There was a couple catches where it's like they were difficult catches. Like he was hit hard on one of them, and they were singing on the broadcast, wow, they should challenge this.
Challenge it, yeah.
Because his feet didn't come down, but his elbow did. And your elbow is considered down. Yep. So that's why it was never a question later on. Chris says, last question, because I must go. Let's talk about this. Can you please explain that IR
Holy
rule?
Trey, I love that.
You want to explain that?
Yeah, so it's pretty much if we didn't activate him. So when we do activate him, there's a 21-day window essentially, and if he doesn't play in a game, then he has to go back on IR. So that's the whole rule behind that. He returned to practice this week, so as soon as he returned to practice, that 21-day window opened up. So that's the reasoning for that.
Yep. So Thomas says 250 miles of Toronto.
Cool. Okay, so that's a little bit farther than I thought, actually.
Yeah, same here.
Toronto's about 2.5 hours from here.
Still nice, 4-hour drive.
Definitely.
When's the last time you've been to a game, Chris? Have you come over and been to, I'm going to call it Rich Stadium, Orchard Park for a game?
Oh, look at that. Wow, so he must be a Sabres fan, too. That's pretty cool.
Yes, love it.
Wow. Not a Leafs fan. I respect it, man. Thank you.
Must get a lot of flack up there for liking the Sabres over the Leafs.
You saw Vinny Testaverde beat Rob Johnson. Wow. So that must have been around 2001-ish, around there. That's the Wade Phillips days. How about it? Pretty cool.
So let me just finish off here. I think we talked about Tommy Sweeney. He had a nice catch. I think that was on, I don't know if that was on a 4th down call, but he had a nice play there. It was just 7 yards. But total receiving again for us, 329. On the Kansas City side, Juju Smith-Schuster had a nice day, right? 5 receptions for 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Travis Kelce, guy just gets open. It was crazy. There was times I was so frustrated, and there were times I'm like, great job. It was because they were changing the coverage on him, constantly trying to figure something out. And again, I did like the Saran Neal move, but they seem to go away from that sometimes. Anyway, he had 8 catches for 108 yards. McCall Hardman had 3 for 42 with 1 touchdown. McKinnon had 29, and Sky Moore had 24. Sky Moore had one nice 24-yarder.
That was a great throw.
I think it was like big 3rd down play.
Yeah.
I believe it was 3rd and long.
Yeah.
And it was just a great throw. Fantastic there. So let's see here. Let's talk about the defensive side, right? We've been giving all the love to the offensive side, but let's talk about the defense. start with the defensive line, Jake. What'd you see there? What were you impressed with? Obviously, we know Von Miller's going to be at the top of your,
Oh yeah. I mean,
top of your mind there. But tell me what you saw there and who impressed you. And for the channel, hey, before you leave, I want to hear who your game balls are going to. Please put it in the channel who those game balls are going to, because we're going to give some game balls out at the end of this. So go ahead, Jake. Talk to me about that defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for the most part, I mean, we were getting pressure. We were just, I mean, there were a couple plays where we were this close to getting home. And I think that was like one of the biggest killers, right? You never want to let Pat Mahomes just extend plays and kind of work his magic and be the magician that he was. But for the most part, contain was really good. I mean, he was able to run up the middle a little bit, but the thing was he couldn't run outside. So we did a really good job of, sealing the edge and making sure that we were getting some pressure applied to him. So that I thought for the most part across the board, the defensive line played pretty well. It was good to see Ed Oliver back out there. I know he got a couple pass deflections. Von was just a wrecking ball as always, and he makes everyone else on that defense so much better. Jordan Phillips was in there a little bit. I saw him get close to getting a sack as well. Shaq Lawson, he had a nice sack. Greg Rousseau was close on a few. He was really close. And then AJ Epinesa was in for a little bit too. I saw him. I think he got flagged on the one. He had an encroachment play there, but I thought for the most part, the defensive line played extremely well. I'm going to give them like a B+ rating, maybe an A. I'll give them an A just because of how good Von was. He was just so damn good. Unstoppable. Orlando Brown didn't stand a chance, not even a prayer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look at the snap count. That information will probably not be available till later today or tomorrow on PFF, but I'd be interested because it felt like it was nice to see Jordan Phillips back too. He was playing big time after coming up gimping with that hammy again last week. I didn't think he was going to play, honestly, especially because Ed Oliver was available.
Yeah,
and I saw more Phillips than Ed. I was like, where is Oliver? I wasn't seeing enough of him. Maybe I was just missing it, but I did see a lot of Phillips there. And then those other guys, Daquan Jones, they just keep doing their job, and Tim Settle, they're just like silent assassins, man.
Yeah. I want to talk about that a little bit. Daquan Jones, you mentioned him. He is like the silent hero on that defensive line. No one gives him enough credit, but he is doing an amazing job. He's taking up bodies. He's doing the dirty work in the middle there. He's acting like Star Lotulelei, like when he was really good with us. He's doing a tremendous job up front there, and I am so impressed with him. I thought I thought it was a good signing at first when we did sign him. And I didn't really expect him to do as well as he is right now, but he's been great, man. He is so damn good. So hats off to Daquan Jones, too.
Yeah, I want to say, and I don't want to butcher Mr. P's name. Do you think you can pronounce that?
It looks like Pew P, maybe? Something like that.
Pew
Poopy.
P.
Poopy.
What? Seriously? No.
It might be. I don't know. It might be.
I don't know. I'm sorry if we butchered your name. Popey.
Popey. Right. We'll call it that. Yeah.
Thank you, Po. Welcome to the channel, man.
My fault. To see you. That's on me.
Let's see, I'm bad at names. I always am. I always try to defer to Jake. He let me down this time. I'm sorry.
I'm usually pretty good with the pronunciation. I like to enunciate my words pretty well here, Mike. But I apologize for the butchering on that one.
No worries. So let's go through this. Thomas says Kelsey will get those catches and yards. He is special. Yeah, it's like those, and back in the day, I can remember Jerry Rice, and I'd be thinking the same thing. Can nobody cover this guy? Can we not put 2-3 guys on this guy and stop him? No. Kelsey's kind of that same way, but they did a pretty damn good job. And I guess that even on the broadcast, they were saying we're the number one defense because tight ends. We did a fantastic job a few weeks ago.
Mark Andrews, we shut him down.
Andrews.
Yeah.
And hey, Kelsey, did he get into the end zone? I don't think he got into the end zone, right?
No,
there was a play.
He didn't actually.
Yeah, they had that one play. There was a nice breakup. I think
Dane Jackson.
Dane Jackson made a nice play on that. And then let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see you next time, Chris. Thanks again. Let's see. Tom said, called it. Knox with the magic wand. And let's see. Easy answer.
Did you hear about this? I wanted to bring this up, actually. I just saw this on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So they're talking about Jordan Poyer. Well, so Dawson Knox, you're correct on that, Tom. Yeah, he definitely, every single catch he made today, I felt like was an impact play. So absolutely, you definitely call that pregame, and tremendous game by him. So Antonio mentions this about Jordan Poyer. So apparently he had a rib injury. He was not actually medically cleared to fly because of the rib injury. So he drove 15 hours to Kansas City to play in this game. Isn't that insane? Like that is That's unbelievable. If that's true, I'm assuming it is. I've heard multiple sources come out with it, so that's incredible. If that's the real deal, I mean, that's incredible.
Antonio must have a direct connect somewhere because he comes with the best
He does.
information. He really does. So Antonio, we appreciate you. Yeah, that is total dedication. This is a guy, we keep talking about it. Man, I want to see him play here. I want to see him retire in Buffalo. His being the veteran in that secondary quarterback in those guys is huge, is absolutely huge. So if that's true, which I wouldn't doubt it, that's the type of guy he
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Amazing. And then Thomas has
awesome.
got game balls going to Reggie. We got to talk about your guy. I think your dad mentioned it earlier. Reggie
Gosh, yeah.
Gilliam again.
What a day.
Allen is the motor behind the machine. Diggs was amazing. Yeah, your boy Reggie doing it again with some key catches and some nice blocking.
Listen, they call him the Sledge for a reason, Mike. He's incredible. Yeah, the sledgehammer. I mean, he does it again. Just a great lead blocker. I mean, caught passes when he needed to, and made some moves out there. It looks like an athlete, and I wish he would get a little bit more involved. I want to see him more involved, like Larry Centers was used back in the day. Bring back the fullback position, make it unfair, make him a fantasy option. Honestly, I mean, he's that good. Where I think he can make an impact on the game like he did today, and like he has in other ways. So I think we got to continue to utilize him. He's a really good football player.
Game ball from your dad says Josh Allen, Taron Johnson, Von Miller. Yeah, I can't claim that. Poe says it's a Louisiana thing.
Okay. Hey, so we must be a fan of Trey White, I'm assuming. If you're from Louisiana, that's pretty awesome. I'm a little sad to see Coach O go, by the way. I was a big fan of him. And the whole Go Tigers thing, love it. Love it. So I should have actually got that when I was thinking, putting two and two together. They do the Go Tigers thing. They spell it Geaux, and it's Go Tigers. So my fault again. I apologize.
And then Jim Tripp, thanks for joining the channel today, says McDermott gave game balls to Josh, Knox, and Tarrant. Just it's so cool for Knox with losing his brother earlier in the season and being able to get that big play. I was praying. I was like, all right, let's bring this win home for him. Right? It's one thing to get that go ahead touchdown in the lead, but it's like, let's please defense step up, make a play, and they did something special there.
Absolutely.
Jim's like, we can give the whole team. We got a budget. We got a bunch of game balls. We can give them to everybody. We try to limit them a little bit so we have enough to get through the year. But hey, no, if we want to, we can give them to as many people as we want. Again, Matt Milano. Just comes to mind real quick. I want to mention him. I think you mentioned him earlier. You thought maybe he was struggling a little bit in coverage, but he continues to make great tackles, right? Just incredible. And he was a spy on Mahomes a few times.
Yeah, he was.
He made fantastic plays. So I don't know what's happened to him. He seems to have gone another gear this year. Like, he was always quick, but he seems faster this year. I don't know what it is, but whatever he's
a man
doing,
possessed.
Whatever he's doing, I absolutely love it. Hey, I need to ask this question, and maybe we can check on Spot Track because my dad was asking me, is Gabe Davis in his contract year this year?
So I think this is the option year where like they have to make a decision on whether they want to pick up his option. I want to say, don't quote me on that. Let me take a look. We need to pull that up because I am curious. But I'm pretty sure that is the deal because it's his third season right now. So I want to say it's like that option year where we can make a decision on that. Let me see.
Yeah, we got Thomas saying.
Yeah, because it's a 4-year, $3.9 million deal that he signed.
Okay, well, this was his third year then, right?
This is the third year, so we got another year.
So we got him another year. That's what I was telling my dad. I'm like, I would have heard that this is contract year. We know Edmonds is in a contract year. We know Singletary's in a contract year. And, they're both kind of flipping a switch and making plays. And then let's see here. Yeah, he was like, this is one of the first times I saw real authentic emotion from Coach McDermott. The other time that I saw real authentic emotion was when we had the punt god issue.
The Matt Araiza thing.
Right?
Yeah.
And he had to take all those questions after the game. And he was definitely, you can see some emotion coming from him because, so that was definitely tough on him. Let's see. Milano is better because Edmonds is better. I agree. I think, having the defensive line in front of them makes everyone behind them better.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The fact that we're doing such a much better job, that interior defensive line was totally reconstructed this year, and they are beast. And of course, that makes life easier for these linebackers. They're not having to shed blocks because these interior linemen are taking all those blocks on. They just got to go make tackles now. But I absolutely agree. Milano's playing better. They just feed off of one another, and they feed off that defensive line. And that's what I think everything, even the corners, even the young safety we have back there, everyone's feeding off what that defensive line's doing. It's incredible.
It really does. It makes everyone's job that much easier. I mean, when you're getting pressure like that, it's less likely you're going to be exposed, so it's a beautiful thing. Gator, there he is, my guy. I was just on the phone with him, actually, Mike. I told him we're doing a post game. So Nate, he's in Ohio right now, but he was my neighbor growing up, basically my second brother, which is awesome. Glad to see him on the show here. He said he had a few LBs himself today, so he's feeling no pain, that's for sure.
What does he mean by it is third year? He does not have to.
So it's his third year. So he's saying he has a 4-year contract, so he doesn't have to like re-up or anything like that.
All right. Yeah, and I like what Thomas says. The punt god is called Martin.
That's absolutely right. Slippery sand, baby.
Man, there was another guy who muffed one of his punts. Now, he had kicked it so far that nobody was right there. But again, another, kick returner dropped the kick.
Right.
Or dropped the punt. So fantastic. He's been doing amazing on the holds. Remember, we were like all worried about a holder.
Oh, yeah. It's laughable now,
So Martin, I'll tell you what, too, that chief punter, who's the chief punter? Because that guy.
Tommy Townsend. Yeah.
My goodness, he kicked the ball. He was
he can.
Killing it. But yeah, super happy with the punter that we have. Just love our special teams. 100%. So let's see, where was I? We were still just getting to our linebackers. We talked about the defensive line. I think we talked a lot about the linebackers. Tremaine Edmonds had 10 tackles today. Thought he did. How did you think he did? I mean, I thought he did fantastic. He was also helping in coverage against Kelsey. And again, like someone said earlier, Kelsey's special. He's going to find those zones every now and then. But to kind of keep him out of the end zone like we did, I'll take it. Let's talk about. I think I talked about what Kelsey did. He had 8 for 108. So he had a big day. He definitely had a nice day for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the best tight end in football outside of Mark Andrews, as I mentioned, Mike. It's near impossible to cover the guy. I thought for the most part we did a really nice job on him. Those stats, that 8 for 106. I think the key there is we didn't allow him to score, which that guy is one of the biggest red zone threats in football. As soon as they get down in the red zone, you're always thinking it's going to be a shovel pass to Travis Kelce for 6, no doubt. But we didn't let any of that happen, so that was really good to see. So I will give us a win in that category at least. I mean, he still had 8 for 106, but we did a really nice job, I think, of neutralizing him in the red zone, which is great.
Yeah, Jim says proud of our secondary without Hyde. Absolutely. I mean, that was such a huge loss. And again, having Poyer there to work with Hamlin. Hamlin's, I think he's coming along very, very well. He's a physical guy. You see him around the ball. And they love to bring him, at the line. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, he could play everywhere on the field, which is awesome. You love to see a guy that's like, again, it's the versatility thing, Mike. Like, I think that's why he's gotten more playing time than Jaquan Johnson, just because Damar Hamlin seems to be offering more of that. And I think Jaquan Johnson's going to have his time too, but right now it's all Damar Hamlin, which is great. And of course, Jordan Poyer. I mean, what the hell, man? Coming in with cracked ribs or whatever it may be. It's incredible. I mean, drove 15 hours to come and play in this game. It's true testament right there to his toughness.
So we talked about the linebackers. Talk to me about the corners. I mean, we had Poyer get another interception. Fantastic play. Yep. We had Benford back, and Dane Jackson was out there. And it was interesting to see Saran Neal going out there. I was like, why is Saran out there? Because he was
I loved it. I was hoping we would do that. And I think that's what we were lacking in the playoff game, right? We didn't have a guy on Travis Kelce sort of jamming him, being physical with him. And for the most part, I thought Saran Neal, when he was on him, did a really nice job. He got a couple flags, but I'm okay with aggressive penalties like that. I'm not too upset by that by any means. I mean, that's an all-pro tight end there. So I thought for what it was worth, he did a really nice job. And then we sort of got away from that, played a lot more zone, a lot of soft zone. So, he got away with some easy catches there. But, hey, again, the biggest thing, not letting him score a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Benford coming back after 3 weeks with the fractured hand was huge. He didn't have a club on. I was surprised by that. Yeah. Yeah, he did look like he got a little shaken up. One of the plays I was worried if he re-injured it, and they said he was cleared to come back. I think so. I don't know if we saw him much after that, but let's see here. Who else we got out there? Poyer coming in at the end injured, reminded me of Kirk Gibson in the World Series back in the day. Oh yeah, yep, I remember.
Dude, those leg injuries, right? That was
yeah, he hit a huge home run and was just gimping around the bases. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to comment on what my dad said there. He was even saying to me, he was texting me, he's like, Edmonds looks slow out there. He doesn't look like he's playing very well. So I'm going to say this. So I don't think it's so much him. I think it's what they're asking him to do. He's not being asked to come up and play in the run game. Like, he's not being asked to play, up close to the line, making those tackles right at the line of scrimmage. Like, we expect him to be doing. He's being asked to kind of play in the middle of the field, almost be like that spy guy more so, and play a lot more coverage and kind of disrupt in that manner. And I think he's doing a really good job playing that role. So, yeah, I mean, even so today, he still had 10 tackles. So I don't think he's playing that bad at all, to be honest with you. I think he's actually playing pretty damn well.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about our good friend Sean, who had a guest last night. And I'm not very familiar with the guest that he had, but I know he's a big player. He has a big show, a big podcast. And he said he had access to one of the Bills' tight ends, not tight ends, linebackers. Was it Alexander? I think he had been able to.
Lorenzo Alexander.
Yeah, so he had been able to interview him. And Lorenzo was saying he's doing what he's being asked to do. And that kind of shed some light on some of the frustrations that we've been having with Edmonds. So based on what I heard, and I believe, this guy is credible, very credible. He's actually, he was fantastic to listen to. And after hearing that, I think we can be rest assured that Edmonds is playing very, very well.
Yeah. Now I will say, previous years when he has chances to make plays and he whiffs on a tackle, no excuse for that. And I think he still needs to get better with those types of situations. But this year, he's kind of being asked to play that different role, as I mentioned. So I think he's done a very good job with that, and he disrupts in the middle of the field. So I really think he's done a great job.
Yeah, we got Boogeyman out there, 30. I love it. He's a Chiefs fan. Love this rivalry. Best in the NFL. Absolutely. It was, earlier on, I was telling Jake, I was getting so tired of seeing this bad football on primetime, watching those last two Thursday night footballs. I don't know. Can you give us an update real quick on the game that's going on there with
let's see. It's 20-3 at half, Eagles. So it's an absolute blowout. Yeah. Wow. Looks like Miles Sanders scored a touchdown. They're doing the Michael Jackson dance there. Yeah, not looking good for the Cowboys.
Yeah, so Boogeyman, thank you for joining the channel. Yes, hope to have a healthy Bills versus Chiefs AFC Championship game.
Would love that.
100%. The only thing I ask is that I hope it's in Buffalo this time.
Oh, please be in Buffalo
Please let it be in Buffalo.
So if you, on our pregame show, we went through this. There's been a pattern where in the playoffs, whoever has been the home team outside of that 1966 AFL Championship game, whoever the home team won the ball game. So we can only hope that the Bills are home for this playoff game against the Chiefs if it happens.
Yep. And then Joseph's out there, Joseph Glover, saying the Diggs and Allen bromance continues. Absolutely. They had a day today. And then we talked about Quessenberry, Jim. Yeah, it was great to have him. We knew we had Quessenberry. He actually, I think he started the season as well at right tackle. And yes, it's good to have when Spencer Brown. We still, Spencer Brown hasn't been, I know, I guess we were expecting a little more from Spencer Brown, but I'm happy with Spencer Brown. I think he's going to be fantastic. But, he came into camp late, right? He had some surgery on his back, and that takes a while to get right. And he didn't get enough reps, I felt, in training camp and in preseason. But, he'll get there. And, yes, it's fantastic that we have these depth players. I am worried, let's say that Quessenberry had got injured. Who do we have that could slide over to tackle?
We still have Bobby Hart. So that's a guy that's played a lot of tackle in his career. Tommy Doyle's on IR, so he's out of the picture. I would say probably the most likely candidate for that, I think, would be Bobby Hart. Just trying to think of some other guys that we have on the roster at the moment. Justin Murray. I'm sorry. We signed Justin Murray, too. So that would be the most likely guy. He's the guy from Arizona that we signed off.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Let's see. Jim says Edmonds doesn't get a lot of splash plays. Yeah, and then the rest of the schedule. So let's talk about that a little bit. So we knew our first 7 games were tough. I wouldn't have been surprised if we were, we're not there yet. We're at 6 games. After the
Yeah.
bye, we have the Packers. Now the Packers have been looking terrible. I mean, not the Packers of old. They lost Devontae Adams. They weren't able to keep Valdez. They actually went after Valdez pretty hard after they lost Devontae Adams, and he had made a decision to go to the Chiefs. They just have not looked that good. Now that we have them coming to Buffalo, it's crazy to think that we've only had 2 games in Buffalo this year so far. So
I know, it's wild.
after the bye week, we get some home games, and yes, we have Green Bay. So the first 7 games were tough. When we did our schedule preview, I think my dad had us at like 3 and 4 or something crazy.
Yeah.
But if you look at that schedule back 5-6 weeks ago, you might have thought, man, I'll be happy if we come out of this 4 and 3,
Right.
5 and 2, right? Well, now we have a chance to go 6 and 1, and then yes, the second half of the schedule, I mean, initially looked more comfy, but
Yeah.
look out for these Jets, man. These Jets could have been if we had lost this game, the Jets would be in first place. They're getting more and more comfortable. They got a great coach there as well. They got this atmosphere now. They're starting to believe in themselves. So watch out. It's always a little dangerous. I saw New England had another big good showing today.
They did, yeah.
Had another good showing. Had a good showing.
Bailey's happy. What the hell, man? Yeah.
Is there a QB controversy?
Dare we
brewing?
say it? Hold on.
Yeah.
Dare we say it? Is it another TB12 in the making?
Oh,
Mike?
no.
No.
Please, no. Don't say it. Don't say
No,
it.
not at all.
But there's definitely a QB controversy maybe stirring there.
There could be. There very well could be.
Oh, and then Jim. How about a Bills Giants?
I love it. I would love that.
Dude, what about those Giants, man?
I
mean, they took on the Ravens, and I thought for sure they're going to finally be brought down to earth. But, man, Dable's got them playing so well. Incredible. Yeah. Hey, I do want to mention we got a lot of folks out there in the channel. A lot of you have said who you are and where you're from. I know there's a couple more out there. Please let us know who you are, where you're from. If you're new to the channel, please comment, like. It's very important for us to get those likes. And hey, if you don't like us, hit the down like. I mean, we hope you enjoy the content we bring you. But most importantly, drop a nickel on that subscribe button. Even though we're a newer channel, we've been around about 1.5 years now, and we continue to grow, we continue to learn, try to do better things, bigger things, and we love that our members, our subscribers, give us some feedback. If you want to see something different on the channel, we're always open to it. We're looking to bring you some content that you enjoy. Hopefully, we're doing that for you. So drop a nickel on that subscribe button, and let's go. We got the Mafia King coming in. Mafia King says Josh Allen is on his MJ 90-91 season this year. He's out for blood and is coming for your souls.
I agree, man.
Fantastic. Love
Definitely.
it. Yes, he's on a mission. And what do we got here? Joseph, left out, not Giants or Cowboys. I'm thinking Eagles, but what a scary party that would be with fan bases. Woo.
There would not be enough beer in the United States to cover that Super Bowl. Let's just be real here. And whoever wins that Super Bowl, the parade. I mean, the Eagles already had their parade a couple of years back. But, man, I mean, these two fan bases, you get them both together, there's going to be some fights, unfortunately. Probably going to be a lot of beer thrown around. And bars are going to maybe go out of business because they're going to have to start going overseas for their alcohol. It's going to be wild, Mike. It's going to be absolutely wild.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles, they're legit, man. They're looking good. They had a great draft, and I think they make a couple big trades as well. Oh, yeah, they got, A.J. Brown in the receiving core. I know
James Bradbury, somehow they nabbed him, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, I'll tell you, the Eagles look really good. They're a legitimate team. It looks like Lane Johnson's leaving the field here, which is not good news for them. That's their right tackle. He's been unbelievable throughout his entire career, but hopefully he's all good. But, yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts has looked awesome. They seem to have a running game. Miles Sanders is now being used like he should be used, which is great to see. Dallas Goedert's a really good tight end. They still have Devontae Smith, who's really good. They have Quez Watkins, who is faster than hell. They have a lot of big pieces there. The O-line's solid. So, yeah, that'll be I feel like right now, if it's my vote, I would say probably Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. I can definitely see it happening.
Well, we need to pay back the NFC East. They had our number back in the 90s. We lost to Washington. We lost to Dallas. We did not lose to the
Giants.
Yeah, we lost to the Giants. But so
Yeah.
I don't care. Any NFC East team, let's go. Bring them to the Super Bowl. Let's get a little revenge there. I think ultimately, I don't know about you. For me, the perfect Super Bowl would be beating Tom Brady. But I don't think that team looks good this year at
No,
all.
they look terrible.
They look terrible. So I think there's a change happening over there in the NFC, and the Eagles are taking advantage of that. And we got Cat Cat out there. She says, "I'm fire." Hey, Cat Cat.
Yeah,
Love the
probably a
name.
little bit of fire too. A lot of burning cars. I remember that was
Yeah.
happening too when the Eagles won their Super Bowl. So yeah, that probably happened as well.
Yeah, and Andrew just says Bradbury is playing well.
Hell yeah. I mean, what a signing for them. And N'Kobe Dean in the middle, Fletcher Cox still, Brandon Graham. They have a lot of pieces there.
And then Jim says, most beer I've ever saw was 100th anniversary of Harley Davidson in Sturgis.
South Dakota. Sturgis, South
You would
Dakota.
not believe
Wow.
it. You know, Jim, what's interesting? Are you a Harley guy? Because it sounds like if you're at Sturgis, you're a rider. And the company I work for is an auction house, and we sell motorcycles. So we're huge. There's most of the folks there at the company love to ride. So I'm curious, if you've been there, you must be a rider.
That's pretty
And,
cool.
and if you are, what type of bike you riding, Jim?
Yeah.
Tom's like, hey. If I could sing good, I would. Let's go,
That sounded
Buffalo.
pretty good.
Let's go.
I love it.
And then Jim says, I rode a Sportster for years. All right. So,
Nice.
so when did you say you were out? When was the 100th anniversary, Jim, that you were out there for? Super Bowl parade is going to be scary in Buffalo.
I think at that point, if we do win a Super Bowl, you probably shut down the city for a couple months, Mike. I mean, there's got to be something. It's just going to be an all-out party for at least a month. At least, I would say.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will definitely, if that happens, I will be flying back home to Buffalo, and I will be staying for that month. I'll be there the whole month. I can work
I love
remote. I will do it.
Nice.
I'll be celebrating, and I'll have some of those good chicken wings. Did you get some wings today?
I didn't get wings, actually.
What?
No, I didn't get any wings. I know, yeah, wings are a little pricey these days, Mike, but they're always worth it here in Buffalo. Any mom and pop shop you go to typically has good wings, so you can't really ever go wrong. But, I'm hoping to get out to Barbell pretty soon. I will say that.
Well, I think we love the interaction over here, so we kind of got off track. But just to finish things up, we were talking about the corners. We talked about the safeties, having Poyer, and actually, I'm going to look that up. If that drive for 15 hours is true, oh my God, thank you, Jordan Poyer.
Crazy.
Let's get the contract signed. Let's get him extended. Amazing stuff. The special teams, I thought, did a fantastic job as well. They continue to do a great job. I didn't notice. Did Tywan Jones, was he out there?
I didn't actually see. That was one thing I wanted to pay attention to, and I didn't even notice, to be honest. I was too emotional with everything else going on, Mike. So I actually didn't look.
Okay.
Have to go back and watch that.
All right. Yeah. 2000. Jim's like 2003 is when it happened at Sturgis. And Mafia King says, I was born in 2003. We got some youngsters. We got some oldsters. Oldsters is not even a word, but you got some oldies like me. Been around since a fan. I was born in 66. Been a fan that I can remember early 70s. I think I was about 7 years old when I finally got attached to the Bills. Joe Ferguson was my guy. Jake, you've been a fan for quite some time. How far back can you remember being that fan, being that guy who's watching the TV?
I remember
with your dad?
watching. I went to a Vikings game with my dad when I was like 4 or 5, and I remember I was so excited because Captain America was there, and that's about all I remember. I think Doug Flutie was the quarterback at the time, so I was born in '93. So I didn't really remember the Super Bowl years. Unfortunately, I just kind of heard them through my parents, as I'm in the womb here. But that's about it.
I do want to ask Jim. This is awesome. 1955, which
Nice.
tells me for that 1966 season, that AFL championship, he's about 11 years old, 10 or 11. Jim, do you remember that? Did you actually get to go to the rock pile at War Memorial Stadium there? Tell us. That's one era that I don't have. Again, I was born in 66, so I don't have much history at all. We talked about that AFL game this morning on our pregame, but I love it. Somebody back in 1955. I know my dad went to the rock pile. told me stories about paying a quarter to get on a bus and
Oh, that's
a
wild.
dollar for a ticket. Are you kidding me?
Wow. Wow.
Oh,
Much
fantastic.
simpler times, man. I wish it was still like that. I really do.
I know. I
In
know.
that sense, economically, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about your game balls and then we'll wrap this up. This has been so much fun. I love celebrating with all these people. I don't want to go. I know I have my little boys like, Dad, he's always asking, when are you going to be done, Dad? I'm like, come on in. Let's celebrate. Join the celebration. But game balls for you, again, we got enough in our budget to give to everyone on the team if you wanted to. But Jake and I try to keep it to like 3. If I had to give only 3 out, who you give them to, Jake?
Well, it's an obvious one. Is definitely Josh Allen. I think another guy you got to do, my boy Reggie Gilliam, just because stat wise he caught a couple passes, but what he did in the run game and just playing the role that he was meant to play, he's just doing a really nice job. They called him Sledgehammer for a reason, so I thought he played a really nice game today. So I got to give a game ball to my guy Reggie Gilliam, and then I'm going to give one to Jordan Poyer because if that's true, again, like we're talking. 15-hour drive with those ribs. I mean, that's incredible. So true testament to his toughness. And, there's a lot of guys that played extremely well. You talk about Von Miller, you talk about Steph Diggs, Devin Singletary, but those are my 3 if I had to give 3 game balls out.
Awesome. So I'm going to give, did you say Josh? Did you give it to Josh?
I did. I took an easy one.
You have to do that, right? I mean, Josh probably gets a game ball every game.
Right.
I'm going to give it to Singletary. You know why I'm giving it to Singletary. Obviously, not only did he do very, very well, but, Jake and I have this ongoing bet since the start of the season who would have more total yards. He took James Cook. I took Singletary, and we can see where this is going. The bet is one of us, we have to treat each other to dinner somewhere of our choice.
At Barbell, we said, for
Barbell.
wings.
Okay, yeah. So I will have to make a trip to Buffalo, but I will for those wings, and
I love it.
It'll be on Jake to buy those wings for me. Looking good for me right now.
Looking real good.
We got Joseph Glover saying, and again, obviously, let me finish up. Singletary for sure. Dawson Knox. Did you say Knox? I'm sorry.
I did not. I left.
Gotta give it to Dawson Knox. That play was incredible. Dawson made a couple. He didn't have a ton of catches, but the few that he did, that one touchdown, the game clincher, another one for a huge first down, which was not an easy catch. And he held onto it and secured the ball. And so fantastic one for him. And my third one, obviously, you say Diggs. I'm going to give it to Diggs.
Yeah. That's a good call. I like it. Honorable mention, the offensive line.
Yeah. Like I said, we try to keep it to 3. I think in this game, we could have given it to
so many people.
Both sides of the ball.
How about Taron Johnson too? Another guy. I mean, coming up with that game-sealing interception.
Remember last year, I used to say every time, who's your, your key players that you're going to watch for, and I'd always say it's Taron Johnson. I'm like, he's going to make a play. He's going to make a play. I got to go back to that because he is just an incredible. We had 2 of the best nickel corners in the game today, right?
That's incredible. Yeah, you love to see it. Algeria Sneed on one side, and then you have Taron Johnson on the other. So yeah.
Yeah, and so we got so Big Al. You said you went to the last game at the Rock Pile, I believe. That was in 1970, and you got to be around. You got to be around my age, so it's amazing to me that you remember that.
He was born in '60.
Oh, okay.
A little bit older. Yeah.
Well, Big Al looks so young. I'm like, that's. Impressive.
I know. Actually, it's funny. My buddies are sending me a picture of this guy that was at the game that kind of looked like my dad. So my biggest loser of the day, Mike, Verizon Fios. So we have Fios out here for a potential cable option. So it's the main 2 are Fios and Spectrum, and Fios customers in the Buffalo area were not able to watch the Bills game because they're in a dispute right now with WIVB, which is the local CBS channel here. So unfortunately, anyone who had Fios was not able to watch the Bills game on their cable network. So you either had to find a bar to go to, or you had to stream off of someone else's app or get a YouTube TV or whatever it may be, So I set my dad up on Prime Video, or on not Prime Video, on the Fire Stick. I had the NFL app for him, showed him how to do it and stuff. So he's watching on that. But it was funny. My buddies were saying, Big Al, he was so pissed off because he couldn't get the game on TV. He flew to KC. So they're sending pictures of this guy. I'll have to send you the picture. That was pretty funny. Doesn't really look like you, but they thought it was you. Like, quick glance. But anyways, yeah, big loss for Fios. I expect a lot of people to be dropping Fios in the Buffalo area here. You do not mess with Bills fans
Yeah,
on game day.
100%.
Like, you do not
100%.
drop a channel. I mean, that the NFL might get a little pissed about that too, because you figure that's ratings and stuff like that. Not that they need any more money or anything like that, but I'm sure it's going to be a factor. A lot of people have Fios in the area, so that's a tough L for them.
I want to go back to Joseph Glover here because I think I skimmed over it here, but we talked about this in the pregame, which is awesome. This is why I love what he said here. Bills Chiefs AFC Championship game in '93 didn't even feel cold, even though it was -20. Came a fan for life watching Joe Montana. We talked about that game.
Wow.
Joe Montana was knocked out in the third quarter. Yes, and we talked about how the hits on the quarterbacks back then, like, the hit that took out Montana would have easily been flagged for unnecessary roughness. It was amazing. Yes, I remember that day. It was very, very cold. I wasn't there, but I was watching the game. And it was our last Super Bowl. Was that 93?
93, yeah, that would have been. Yeah, 94 would have been the appearance. Because it was 90, 91, 92, 93.
Yeah. It was our last Super Bowl appearance for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an interesting story. We talked about earlier in the pregame how a couple of years earlier, Montana was on the Niners in that NFC Championship game against the Giants. And I was telling Jake how I was cheering the heck for the Giants because I didn't want to face Montana, nor did I want to face Jerry Rice. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, we'll beat the crap out of these Giants. And of course, it was dang Belichick coming up with his awesome defensive scheme to steal that game from us.
It's incredible. I want to say something too. I had a conversation with someone the other day talking about Jerry Rice. I think the greatest football player of all time is Jerry Rice. I'm just going to say that right now. The guy is untouchable. Played until he's 42 years old, over 1,200 receiving yards at age 40. No one in their right mind or in NFL history ever again will ever do anything like that. It's incredible. The guy's stats are untouchable. His consistency is untouchable. He was just next level. Best football player of all time, Jerry Rice.
I don't disagree. I got to tell you, man, I had him on my fantasy football team for
God,
many years.
The numbers he used to put up too, my gosh.
Destroyed any league I was in. If you were lucky enough to get him, yeah, I mean, he was putting up 3-4 touchdowns a game.
How did you do fantasy back then? You have to read the paper the next day?
Yes. So back in, what was it, 1985, I got a job. I moved out to California because my family had moved out here. And I got a job at a retail store. It was called Sport Mart. Dude, it was Dick's before Dick's became a thing. It was a huge sporting goods store. It was like I was working in a playground. So we went there, and some guy says, hey, I want to start this fantasy football. And he pulled the magazine off a shelf. Yes, there were magazines still. Believe it or not, we were selling magazines. And It had how you did fantasy football. So, yes, we would get the paper on Monday morning. We would add up all the numbers. And then also, that's how you did your scouting. You actually pulled the paper. If you were good enough to get the paper, go on lunch or breakfast and go through the box scores. And that's how you knew like who your picks were going to be this upcoming week. We didn't have the internet back then. We had to get to and it was so much fun. I got to tell you, and you truly had the edge if you spent the time. Nowadays, the apps tell you everything.
Everything's right there.
It's almost too easy.
Well, you have to have like an accountant add up those scores just to double check those things. I mean, geez, it's a lot of math.
Mike Hart, appreciate you saying great post-game podcast. Really appreciate it. And Joseph saying again, Taron Johnson, for sure, unsung hero of all. Absolutely. And then what do we got here from the Mafia King? I haven't had Fios in years. Feel bad.
Cut the cord, man. Go to streaming. Yeah.
I did that a few years back. Cut the cord. Now I will say, I do have Verizon as my internet provider.
I do too,
because they're fantastic for that.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues there.
Right, but start streaming, and I don't know what their problem is. They're gonna lose a lot of people.
Yeah, terrible.
He said, listened on the car radio driving home from a singing engagement.
Nice. All right, I like it, Jim. Very nice.
Awesome. Well, we do this every week on Sundays. If the Bills are playing on Sunday, our pregame show is always 8 a.m. on the West Coast, 11 a.m. on the East Coast, and then we'll do the postgame. Normally, we go live about an hour or hour and a half after the game ends. We got a lot of primetime games, which is exciting this year. I think we have a Sunday night game after the bye against Green Bay, and one of our giveaway winners who got tickets is going to be at that game. So that's pretty exciting.
Hoping to do another one in the future here, Mike. I'm not going to spoil anything, but fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah, we actually had a couple giveaways back-to-back months. We gave away tickets to the Titan game, right? The opener. That was fantastic. And then we did tickets for, thanks to the folks at Gorilla Garage Gear for the Packer game. So that's cool. And Jim, great to see you. I hope to see you again soon. Let's go, everyone. I think, let me just say what Big Al had to say. The last game at the Rock Pile was in 72 against the Detroit Lions.
So let me think. The quarterback for the Lions, it was a running quarterback, I want to say. Lions in 72. Was Charlie Sanders on that team? He was a tight end. There are a lot of good players in that game. I feel like OJ was playing in that game. There were a lot of good players in that last game then.
Well, that's cool that he can remember that.
Who was that? I got to think of that quarterback now. It's going to kill me, Mike.
The quarterback for the Bills at that time?
No. Well, not for the Bills, but for the Lions.
For the Lions.
Really good. And
Gotcha.
The reason why I think of this is because I was thinking about him the other day because I'm an idiot and like a weirdo, and I just think about random stuff like this. So, man, this is going to kill me.
All right. Yeah,
I don't know.
Anyway. The stats are untouchable, just insane, ahead of everyone else. Jerry is the GOAT of all time, no doubt. Yeah. Yeah, it was a thing of beauty to see. So I was fortunate enough to see a lot of Jerry Rice, and definitely feared him going against the Bills in that first Super Bowl. But as it worked out, the Giants had our number. But anyhow, love watching him. It was just another one of those like, how can they not scheme for this guy? No matter what they did, the dude put up numbers all the time.
You know what his training routine was? He used to just run hills, and then he'd catch bricks. He was a bricklayer with his dad growing up. So he'd literally catch bricks with his bare hands. I mean, that's like,
oh my God,
it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Did Antonio get it right? Is it Greg Landry?
I think it was Greg Landry. I want to say it was. I'm actually going to look this up right now.
Yeah, we got to get
Greg Landry. Holy cow, it was Greg Landry, Antonio. Good stuff, man.
I'm telling you, Antonio's got a direct connect to all information.
That was pretty damn good.
I think he has an insider on the Bills organization that he gets this information. We love it.
There was another guy I was thinking of, though. It must have been predated him, I think. But yeah, that's a great name. Wow.
All right. Well, we have 2 weeks to celebrate. We have a bye next week. We are going to do a show. We did a show last year on the bye week. We'll talk about, kind of a scorecard. We gave him a scorecard last year, and this scorecard is going to be A's all over for the most part. But we'll have a nice show next week, and join us for that. But we have 2 weeks to celebrate. Everybody go have an amazing time. This is a huge, huge win for us. It's so nice. Like I said, if we had lost, going into a bye with a loss, oh my God, it would just been horrible for 2 weeks. But now we get to just kind of relax, knowing that we're 5-1. We are first place in the AFC. I believe we are first place in the AFC. So let's go. Let's keep it going. Last year, after our bye week, I was talking in a pregame show. We went and lost 5 of our next 8. Can't happen. This team is not going to let it happen. This team is so much better than last year's team. And you just see they just matured. The pieces we've added to this team, amazing. So let's go. Everyone celebrate. Jake, thank you so much. Again, appreciate everyone out in the channel. And I'll say it one last time. If you're new, drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us. Share the channel with others and comment. We love comments as well, and I love the interaction. This is why we built this channel, Jake, to meet new people, meet new Bills Mafia, see where they're from, and this is incredible. So thank you all. Appreciate you. So everyone have a great rest of your Sunday. We will see you soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills, baby.